Hello, everybody. My name is Beatriz Acevedo, and I am the co-founder and CEO of Suma Wealth. We are so excited to have you here. I am very excited to be here today and really learn everything that I've been wanting to learn about crypto and how to level up my game when it comes to this currency. And I could not be happier than to have an incredible expert in this joining us today. Her name is Nadia Álvarez. She is a business development representative for the Maker Foundation in Latin America. Nadia Álvarez develops alliances with organizations interested in integrating a vision of decentralized finance, which is what we're talking about today. And before joining the Maker Foundation, Nadia worked in the most important technology corporations in the region, promoting innovative software projects in the financial sector. She worked for companies such as Woolux, Red Hat, and IBM. Bueno, Nadia, muchas gracias por acompañarnos. Welcome, 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 and thank you so much for accepting to be our expert today on all things crypto.
Oh, thank you, Bea. It's so nice to be here, and well, I hope to teach you a little bit more about cryptocurrencies and all this craziness that we are living with the crypto world.
Well, no, thank you so much. And just a little bit more about the Maker Foundation that you work with. It is an organization that facilitates the development of Maker Dao, and we are going to be learning all about that too, right? Maker Dao governs the Maker Protocol and DAI, the world's first decentralized collateral-backed stablecoin on Ethereum blockchain. I understood nothing about that. That's why I'm here. And DAI mitigates volatility, which is that I understood. Anything that mitigates volatility, I want to be a part of, through an autonomous system of smart contracts called the Maker Protocol. Want to learn about that as well, and through decentralized community governance. Me quiero morir with all these terms, but you know what? I'm excited that maybe in the next hour I'm going to be an expert, and so is everybody joining us today. We have so many questions, Nadia, that I'm just going to jump right in. All these questions come from our community. We also have the Q&A open for anybody who still has a few questions on what we're talking about and want to throw some of their questions there. We're going to do our best to be able to cover the majority of these questions and your questions from the live Q&A. So let's just dive right in with a very basic question. What is blockchain and what is crypto?
Okay, so blockchain is like a database, but with a twist. And the twist is decentralization. So blockchain is a decentralized, distributed network that represents a ledger where every transaction is stored by these individual nodes that work together in order to keep this ledger organized and immutable with the information and all the data of the transactions that happens in there. And blockchain is important because thanks to the blockchain, it was possible to create cryptocurrencies on top of that could be managed by this decentralized network. So the blockchain is the beginning of all these new cryptocurrencies that want to have these different features that the blockchain can offer. To be decentralized, to be transparent, to be distributed between different nodes, and because of that, it's not necessary for you to trust in a central entity in order to run this network, because you just have to trust in the network because that's how it works. So that, I hope that was clear. But I wanted to mix both concepts because both concepts are almost the same. Cryptocurrencies exist thanks to the blockchain, because the blockchain, what it is a distributed network that is like a distributed database when everyone is like saving the transactions of these cryptocurrencies that occurs on the top of that network.
So would it be safe to say that like blockchain is, yes, a ledger of transactions that is incredibly secure, or the most secure possible of anything that we've been able to see?
Yes, But I mean, the security is because its nature of being decentralized and distributed. And because of that, the blockchain has this mechanism in where every node has to trust in each other, because it's the only way where a decentralized and distributed network can exist. So because of that, all the data that is stored in the blockchain is immutable. So it's impossible to change, because if you want to change something, every node has to be like, has to say, okay, let's change that. And
Right.
it's almost impossible
Impossible.
because, yes, because all of these nodes are all around the world. So
That's what makes it
was,
secure.
exactly.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Well, hopefully that was clear to everybody. If it's not, please put it up on the Q&A and we'll do our best to continue to talk about it. So moving on to crypto, we have a question here from Miriam that says, does crypto work like the stock market?
Well, it's interesting what crypto is, because crypto is taking the traditional financial system and it's like mimicking, but with all the features and characteristics that belongs to the blockchain. Wow. So one thing about being a distributed network is that you have to think global. And if you think global, you have to have an open market available 24/7. So that's one big difference between the stock market, which is more local and it has like a schedule, and the crypto world doesn't work like that.
Doesn't sleep. The crypto world doesn't sleep.
Exactly. That's one big and important difference. But the other one is that the stock market is about stocks, but the crypto market is not necessarily about stocks, because cryptocurrencies can represent different things. There are cryptocurrencies that represent currencies. For example, DAI, the stable coin, represents a dollar. There are cryptocurrencies that represent like an affiliation of something. So it represents that I belong to a community and I can vote in there. Or it could represent a crypto kitty. So it's like a kitty that lives in the blockchain and I can put a name on it and I can find another crypto kitty and have baby crypto kitties or something like that. Yeah. So that's the difference between the stock market and the crypto market. In the crypto market, you can trade whatever. So that's another big difference. And of course, I think one of the biggest other biggest difference is the time that it has been around. Like the crypto market has been around, like I would say, in the last 10 years, and in the last 5 years maybe we have seen this explosion. So what it means is that regulators are understanding what it means and how it works, and are thinking on how to regulate this decentralized and global market. So that's why, like, if you are a newcomer and you're listening about Bitcoin, NFTs, and all of that, you have to be careful, because regulations exist, but is not as regulated as the stock market. Exactly.
Okay. Okay, that's helpful. Yeah, because definitely big differences with the stock market. I'm going to combine maybe three questions into one because they're all very related. One is coming from our live Q&A. So thank you so much, Laura Santiago, for engaging with us. She's asking, how do you even begin investing and acquiring cryptocurrency? There's more questions that we had from our social feeds that pretty much are the same. Where should I buy crypto? Which platforms can I trust? So let's just merge all of those. Where do you start? Who can you trust? And where do you go for crypto?
Well, I love this question, because for me, and well, everything that I'm going to say is my personal experience. For me, crypto is not just an investment. Crypto is a new paradigm. Is like the new way to develop the financial system, and also with the NFTs explosion that we are going to talk about that later, the other aspects of our life. So for me, crypto, blockchain, and crypto in general is more than an investment. A lot of people compares cryptocurrencies with the internet. Like when the internet was born, none of us could think about what you could do in the future, like remote works or sending emails or buying things online. That was like, it's not possible. And we think it will be the same with cryptocurrencies and the decentralized financial systems, because it's like the evolution of the money, is the evolution of the financial system. We are living in a hyper-connected world. Like we are, I don't know, I'm right now I'm in Mexico, and but I'm not from Mexico, I'm from Colombia. My friends and family are all around the world. We are living in this hyper connected world, but the money is still is thought to belong to a country, and it has like borders, and that doesn't make any sense in this connected world that we are living. So for me, cryptocurrencies are the first step towards that future where you can use your money, and it doesn't mean that money is printed by a country. It doesn't mean that I have a bank account that belongs to a country, because you're like everywhere. And right now, after this COVID world that we are living, you can work for any company in the world. So a currency that belongs to a country, it's kind of weird in this situation that we are living. And for me, cryptocurrencies open a lot of possibilities to start developing solutions for what we are needing right now. So okay, it's true that cryptocurrencies are a good investment, because last year Bitcoin at one point was I think 5K or something like that, or 3K, I can't remember, and now is almost 60K. So yes, if you bought a Bitcoin last year, you have earned, I don't know, like a lot. But I think if you're going to buy Bitcoin just because of the price, you're like not understanding this thing. Like I think if you want to buy Bitcoin or buy Ethereum or any other cryptocurrency, it's very important to understand why do you want to do that, and understand what is behind that and all the possibilities that this could bring. Like of course, for me, buying crypto is an investment, because I believe in all the possibilities that this could bring to the society. But I prefer that everyone makes make their own research and understand these possibilities, and if they are convinced, well, you should invest in that, because is the future. That is for me, and that is why I'm working in this, and I want to learn more, and I'm like involved in different ways in the crypto space. So for me, it's more than an investment.
Right, and it's like the future of decentralized finance, right? There's a comment in the Q&A. CC, I see you here, and it's like, this seems so elusive, and I totally understand. I'm trying to just like get to everything, and I'm like, okay, does this mean this? Like I'm still not clear on how do I invest, or what's a platform I can trust, but I'm gonna push Nadia to give us those answers. And I know, CC, you're like, can the presenter provide a visual of how this system works? We are going to have a masterclass in our Zoom Academy that we are launching on April 15th. It'll be free for you guys too. And that's going to be much more of a class, right? Like we're going to have specific graphics. We're going to go through all the different things. That's going to be much more in depth than what we're doing here with our Dinero session. Take this as an appetizer. We're going to take a lot of these questions, and we will have graphics, and we will have a very hands-on approach to all of this. So we will be following up with you guys on that. These are so many questions just to even get us thinking about it. So for any of you who are craving a more visual way and a more traditional class, we will have that available on April 15th. So you touched upon a little bit on, like, the different types of stable coins that exist and what can you be investing. Clearly we hear more Bitcoin than anything, but there's others and people want to know. Carlos here is asking what's the difference between DAI, Maker, and DAO Maker. I have no idea, but great question, Carlos.
Yes, great question, Carlos. And but before going to that question, I want to say that CC, he's right, or she's right, I don't know, because yes, cryptocurrencies. I always say that talking about cryptocurrencies is like if I try to teach you how to ride a bike, just to like describing the procedure, it's like
impossible.
It makes no sense. Yes, it's like you think you understood it, you think you got it, but actually you don't, because you have to try it. Same thing with cryptocurrencies, you have to try it. You can like watch like tons of YouTube videos and hear a lot of podcasts, but you have to try it in order to understand.
So how do we try it? Let's go there, right? Okay, so we want to, using the analogy of the bike, right? We're going to be done with this hour at some point. Thank God we still have another 45 minutes, because I want to be a little bit more knowledgeable when it ends. And so does everybody here, I'm sure, listening to this. So where can we start? So if it's not with YouTube videos, it's not 100% just like trying to study it and we need to try it. How do we start trying it? Where do we go? Who can we trust? What do we do?
Okay, well, where do you start? Well, you can try different exchanges. For the US, I would suggest Coinbase or Gemini. Those are like very trustful exchanges, very well recognized. And if you are in other countries, do your own research, like try to ask someone, or if not, you like my Telegram, my Twitter account, and my email is always open to anyone who has questions about it. And tell me where you live and I can like help you to find the best place to buy it. But usually what you have to do is try to find exchanges that are regulated. There are some countries where crypto is not illegal, but it's not regulated, so it will be harder to understand if this exchange is regulated or not. But well,
in the US, the two that you mentioned are regulated, and you say they're highly trusted. If anybody on the Summa team can put on the chat or on the Q&A or anywhere else that everybody listening to this can potentially, remember. What was Gemini and what was the first one that you mentioned, Nadia?
Coinbase.
Okay, so Coinbase and Gemini. I also promise that we will do 2 posts, one on each, very soon on our social feeds, and an article, so we can analyze them and break it down for everybody, because that's great. Okay, so those would be good places for us to start, that we live here in the US, that are respected and trusted. And okay, perfect. And what is the minimum investment? Like, is it, I always see Gemini in my Twitter, like they're always hitting me up with their ads, right? Every time I open it, it's there. What is the minimum investment? Is it like a fractional share that you can start with $5, or how does it work?
Well, that's the other big question. And first, I'm going to answer what you should buy. That depends on you. Usually, these exchanges, the ones that are like trustworthy, they do like a research about the projects behind a coin, and they just list like certain projects that they think like are good projects and have a good team behind. But that doesn't mean that the price could fluctuate, could go up or could go down. So you have to be careful about that. Like, not because it's listed in Gemini or Coinbase, it means that you will get rich in 10 years if you buy that. Like, it's almost the same as the stock market. You have to choose wisely which stock you want to buy, but it's like a little bit more riskier because this market is very new. So the price is like every token is like discovering the right price. So the fluctuation in the price is like insane. So just like be careful with that. And if you don't have that risk appetite that high, you can start by stable coins. But stable coins like DAI are cryptocurrencies that in some way represent a currency, a fiat currency. In the case of DAI or USDT or USDC, they represent dollars, so they are crypto dollars. You can also find other stable coins that are pegged to the euro or other currencies in the world. That makes sense in some regions of the world. For example, in Latin America, people are buying cryptocurrencies because they don't want to have their savings in their local currency. Right. Like, for instance, in Argentina Venezuela. Or Venezuela. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
like the perfect example, no?
The perfect example. So it's not because they want to speculate in the price. It's just because they don't want to get ruined by their local currency. So it's like a different perspective. So, well, going back to the how can I try this thing? So you go open an account in Gemini, Coinbase, or do your own research. Like in the US, because of the regulation after crypto, you can find different exchanges that are regulated and are like you can trust in them. So after you open your account, do your own research about the currencies that you can buy in that exchange. Usually they will have Bitcoin or Ether, because those are the cryptocurrencies with the higher market cap in the market. So they have more liquidity than others. Also, the time that they have been around is like a lot if you compare it with the newest ones. And it has like a lot of users. It has a lot of applications that are built on top of that, so are using their own blockchains. That's another important point. Bitcoin and Ether, those are cryptocurrencies that run in different blockchains. Bitcoin runs in the blockchain that is also called Bitcoin, but Ether is the cryptocurrency that runs in the Ethereum blockchain. And there are other cryptocurrencies that also runs in the Ethereum blockchain.
And what is the difference between them? Like, what's the difference of one
different networks?
Blockchain? Just a different network.
No, there are a lot of differences, like the way how they process the transactions, the way how they, because remember that these networks are managed by a lot of nodes that are distributed around the world, and behind those nodes are people who are working for that network. So every network has its own economical incentives, so that network can like work. And each network deploys different economical incentives. Each network like they have different mechanisms for working.
Is there one that is more stable or less risky or more proven, or not really?
Well, I will say that no, you can like find differences between like pros and cons between both networks, but the main, and there are more, not just the Bitcoin and the Ethereum network. You can find like I don't know how many are right now, but there are like more than 30, 40, I don't know, but there are a lot of networks, and each network, on top of that network, they have their own cryptocurrencies. So wow. It's like this incredible big world. And but well, I'm going like in a lot of details. So you have to do your own research about what you want to buy, because it's what I think we all have to do before putting our money on something. Like if you're buying a stock, you should like understand what is that company about, who is the team behind that company. Well, the same thing with crypto. So you should like understand the team behind the project, try to understand, or just like read about the fundamentals of the project, um, like try to reach the community, try to talk with the community, understand if they are engaged or not with the project. Like there's a lot of information in the internet where you can find like uh, if that project had problems in the past, for example. So like that's one thing that I really like about blockchain and crypto in general, and is that one is transparent. You can find whatever you want. And the second is that the community is so open and very, very friendly. And if you have questions, you can, like, for example, you want to know more about DAI, let's say. So you just go to the Maker website and you will find the different channels, open channels, where you can talk with me or even the developers of the project, and you can ask questions. That you can ask the most basic question or the most complicated, and you will find someone to talk about that. So that's awesome. Like it will be maybe almost impossible to talk with, I don't know,
the president of a bank or the
yes,
CEO of
exactly.
a tech company. But yeah, I think you answered a little bit of my anxiety as I heard you say, just do your research. Because I'm like, well, I thought I was doing my research by coming to this 1 hour class and I was going to be an expert. So my next question was, where do I do my research? Like, where do I even start? Like, what do I Google, right? Like, so what would be your like top 3 recommendations for us to even continue to further doing our research? We are so committed at Summa to continue to post bite-sized information on our blog, more in-depth master classes, because we do want to make sure that our community is not shut out or does not have the opportunity to build wealth now, right? And if we don't understand it, I'm an investor in these cryptocurrencies. I don't understand it, right? Like I trust a friend who told me invest in my fund, and I did, and I see it going up and I'm very happy. Some days it goes down and I'm like, I'm not going to look at it, but I don't understand it myself. And I feel that that's also how our community feels. We want to make sure that we get in now, that we understand what is the future of finance, and that we have this opportunity to level up our wealth now. But it's also really, really scary that, this, like my abuelita would say, sounds like en chino for me, right? Like it just sounds like a really foreign language, and it's just creates a lot of anxiety, right? It's like, well, do the research, we'll do this, inform yourself. I'm like, what do I do? Where do I start?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something that we inside the crypto community in different ways, we are trying to like finding the way to solve this, because one of the biggest problems is that this has been built by developers, not product owners. So developers are creating these incredible systems that comes with all these amazing features like transparency, decentralization, like this open market that never sleeps. But it has been thought about for developers by developers. So yes, they are not thinking in our abuelitas, and yes, we have to solve that. And is what is happening now. I'm seeing a lot of interest in the traditional financial system, in fintechs, on uh, using crypto in the back and start offering products to people. And I think that's great. That's awesome, and that will open a lot of opportunities for these companies, and also for people who, I mean, not everyone wants to do this research. Not everyone has to be like interested about all these uh, changes of paradigm that crypto has. Like you can just be there because you like the yield and the possibilities. I don't know, but well, where should you start? I will say, well, you have to read about Bitcoin and Ethereum, because those are the most important blockchains. And Bitcoin is considered like the digital gold. is like a way to keep reserves. And there are people in the crypto world who believe that maybe Bitcoin will replace gold at some point. And Ethereum is important and is relevant because you can create on top of Ethereum software that can manage financial logic by now, but in the future we don't know the possibilities that this could bring. But it's software that runs in a decentralized way with economical incentives for everyone who is part of this chain. So what brings Ethereum is this thing that we all call decentralized finance. So it's having everything you have in the traditional financial system, like a bank account, a savings account, the possibility of asking for a loan, insurance, all of that, but in the blockchain. So it will be possible for me to open a DeFi or a decentralized finance a bank account in one of these DeFi banks in somewhere in the world, because the place will not matter, like who you are or your nationality or where you live or things like that. It doesn't matter in this decentralized ecosystem. So I will say read about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and DeFi or decentralized finance. In the masterclass I did, I put 3 links that talk about that. Bitcoin as the internet of money, DeFi and how to understand more about it, and I also talked about another one, but I can't remember by now. But yes,
we'll share the links, and we promise for everyone listening, we will do the research, we will do the reading, and we will translate it very much in culture so I personally can understand it, and hopefully makes it a little bit less daunting for everyone in our community. We promise that we'll dedicate a lot of our posts to this, because I know this is something that we're all interested in, but it still feels like such a foreign language and so difficult to understand. Here's an interesting question that is perfect for what we're talking about, and this comes from Michael Vargas. And it is said, is it wiser to invest smaller amounts of money in several promising companies, or keep more money in one of the larger crypto players like Bitcoin or Ethereum, which is exactly what we were just talking about now?
That depends on you. I can't give you an answer about that, because that depends on you and your strategy. Like the same as in traditional investments. Like that depends completely on you. You can think about the strategy where you can like put money in different altcoins. That's the name of these tokens that are not Ethereum or Bitcoin or stable coins, those altcoins that represent different things. You could put a little bit on each one and see what happens. But of course, as I said before, please do your own research, like learn about the project, learn about the team behind the project, learn about the roadmap of the project. And if you do that, I think that's like a good option to invest a little bit in different altcoins. Or like the most conservative in this case is just like go for Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Okay, no, that's great. Yeah, so very personal personal choice, just like when you make any sort of investment. There's a ton of questions. I'm trying to go through the ones that are similar, but then get to the ones that are completely different. So I'm going to start with, so we talked a little bit about what the coins are, where to start investing, how do you do your research. I'm going to go a little bit into a different area, which is safety. A lot of questions of like, how safe it is, how is it insured, should I think about this similar to my IRA as a long-term investment, what are your thoughts on, and people are like, is this more secure or less secure than the stock market? We know this one doesn't sleep, but as far as like when you were saying what is your risk tolerance, should we think that this whole world of decentralized finance, do people investing here need to have a higher tolerance risk level than the stock market, or is it comparable?
Well, I will say it depends on the time that you can put on this, because it is very new for all of us. And because of that, if you put money in something that you don't understand, it will be riskier that put money in something that is more regulated. And it's like you, if you had done investments in the past, like you sort of know how this works, and if you have a fund that you can trust and is regulated, like, well, you know how it works. But if you go to Coinbase, let's say, and you go and put your money in Bitcoin today, and it's 60K on Bitcoin, but tomorrow it will be, I don't know, maybe 30K or 1K or whatever, nobody knows. And you have to be like prepared for that possibility. It could go tomorrow, it could go to 1K, tomorrow it could go to 1 million. You don't know, and nobody knows. And also remember that, like, one big difference that I forgot to mention between the crypto market and the stocks market is that the stocks market is huge compared to the crypto market. So it is more difficult to move the needle in the stocks market. But in the crypto market, it's something that it's possible. Like a whale can do a mess, but that is almost impossible to happen in the stocks market, because it's completely regulated, and like it's not going to happen. Well, that's what we all know now, but black swans can happen in any day. So yeah, I will say, if you do your own research and you try to understand a little bit more about this, and you understand that having crypto is also like being like your own bank, because you will have the option to buy your crypto in Coinbase, but take that crypto back and saving it by yourself, like be your own bank, and like do the custody of that cryptocurrency by yourself. That's something you can do with crypto. That's something impossible with money, because if you want to do that, you will have to have like in Argentina or Venezuela, that they don't trust in banks, so you have your money in cash
under the mattress.
Exactly.
Yeah, bajo el colchón.
Yeah, so you can do that in crypto, but in crypto there's not there is not like a physical thing that you have to put somewhere, but
to store, except your passwords, for sure, because I don't remember my password from years ago, and I've lost that, so my husband's super upset. So the only thing you need to remember is your password, because there's no way to get it back.
Exactly. But what happens when you are in total control of your money? One thing is that you have more freedom, but the other is that you have more responsibilities, because if you forget your password,
that's it.
You don't have a call center.
No, right.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, this sounds, of course, I mean, you hear of people becoming, crypto millionaires within a year, like you were saying, right? If you put this money, but you could also lose it all. And we've seen that years ago when there was a big boom, then it went down, now it's up again. So I know this certainly by no means are we telling our community, this is not advice to tell you go and do this and put it. This is what's happening today in the world of finances. Our community needs to know and learn and understand, and we are committed to giving you the information in the best of our ability, breaking it down in the best way possible. But at the end, it's a very personal decision, and you'll have to decide. It's still the wild, wild west in a way. That's why you can make a lot of money overnight, but that's also why you can lose a lot of money overnight. So you have to be, like Nadia saying, really prepared for that. So there's a lot of safety questions. How do I make sure that I don't lose my money? The platform I use doesn't go. How do I make sure? So for all these safety ones, there's no for sure, right? There's nothing for sure in life. My dad would say, nada en la vida está garantizado más que morirse. So that's all that's for sure. And certainly this world of stable coins, decentralized finance, Bitcoin, all the words that we hear, it's very new, and there's no for sure's today. So just learn as much as you can, and be prepared. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's also advice we got from our abuelitas. But it is important that we understand that and that we learn, because if it is a way to build wealth within our community and within our family, we don't want to stay out of that game, right? Because we got scared or we didn't learn about it. So I think, as scary as it is to me personally, being super vulnerable here, I know a lot of people feel the same way. We still need to learn so we can progress. Let's move on to a very hot topic that I understand even less than everything else, right? NFTs. Can you first, because there's so many questions on NFTs. So let's just start first on, there's a question here. It says, what is NFT? And then there's a lot of very particular questions on NFTs from our community. So let's start with that. Okay, why do we read every day about these crazy NFTs? What are they? And how can a virtual taco cost $100,000? It's just mind-blowing to me.
Yes, absolutely. Well, NFTs, it means non-fungible tokens. And the difference between these NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and the cryptocurrencies is this definition of fungible. What is that? If you have, let's take as an example a dollar. If you have a bill of $1, $100, I don't know, you don't care about the serial number, right? You just want $1 or the bill. You just want like $1 or $100, but you don't care. Like, I want the one with the serial number. You don't care about that, because like everything is the same. You just care about the value that it represents, right? That's fungible because you don't care about the serial number of the element. You just care about the element because of the value it represents. Non-fungible, you care about the serial number.
Like art, each one, right?
Like art, exactly. Like art is the best example of this, but right now you can think about NFTs of everything that it has its value because of what it is. So you can think about doing an NFT of a tweet. You wrote an awesome tweet with a lot of likes. You could think about putting that in an NFT. You could think about your house, for example. Your house is unique, so your house could be an NFT. You could think about like a cool pair of sneakers. You could think about like
Pero Nadia, espérame. When you say like your house or the sneakers, like, so how would that work, right? Like, I'm like, okay, my house is unique, it's awesome, I'm gonna make an NFT. And what do people invest in my house? Like, I mean, even going back to art, that seems a little closer, right? I have original art in my house. My husband and I love to collect art. So we have original, or we have serigrafías that have the little number 1 out of 10, lo que sea. But I love to see it in my walls all around me. It's something I see, I touch. It's right next to me where I'm working. If you have an NFT, I get how you buy it, but then it lives somewhere in the universe, in the digital universe,
yes,
and that's it. Like, I mean, help me understand that. And yes, and also, like,
yes.
how do people make money off of it? Because when you say a tweet, who wants to invest in my tweet? And then what happens? I put it up and somebody now owns my tweet because they want to say they're the owner of my tweet, and they put money, and there's a lot of investors. They're like, what's the thinking behind? Because when I first heard about NFTs a while ago, I thought nobody's going to go for this, right? Like, oh, digital moments of somebody dunking a basketball. And I'm like, what? No, well, why don't you just watch the video on ESPN, right? Like, why don't you just Google it and watch it? It's like, no, but you don't own it, right? Like, to your point of like, no, but I'm the owner of that image. Can you just expand my mind into like how that would work? And even give me the example of the house, because that seems even wilder than the tennis shoes.
Well, I mean, it's the same as art. Like, why would you pay $1 million for something that if you like do the math in materials could cost, I don't know, $100? Why would you pay $1 million? Like, that could be insane for someone, but you will pay that because of the artist, because when you see that you feel something, because that reminds you something. It doesn't care for you. That piece of art it cost $1 million, and you want to pay for that. So it's the same with NFTs. Like, for some people it's like, what, why are you doing that? But for others it makes sense. And it's easy to understand this, like maybe in the video games. Like, video games, characters exist in this universe, this digital universe, where you can like have like different things over you, and you want your character to be like as beautiful as, I don't know. So you invest and you pay like real money to just like put something like glasses over your character, a character that lives in a video game. But that maybe I'm not a gamer, so for me it's difficult to understand that. But for gamers, that makes total sense. And let's go to another thing, like people who, I don't know, who has a collection of, I don't know, of coins. Why would you have a collection of coins? Well, for me, I'm not a collector. I don't have this mindset, but there are a lot of people who like sees value on that. So that's what NFTs are, I guess. Is like is the way that you can like put a value of something and put it inside a market, and you will find in this decentralized and open market where you can like meet with people that are like everywhere, you will find someone who wants to pay for a tweet. That's amazing, I think. And what can you do? Well, I have seen, like, this is very interesting, and there are a lot of people in Latin America and in different emerging markets that are finding opportunities in NFTs. Because, for example, in Venezuela, there are a lot of local artists that are creating art, and they couldn't sell that in Venezuela. Like there's no market for that. But thanks to the NFTs and these metaverses, they can show their art to the world, and they have people over there that are interested in buying that. So I think it opens like a lot of options. Like, maybe for you, or maybe for me, that's not interesting, or probably right now there's not like a product that we find interesting. but for others, like it's amazing. Like a
Right.
tweet from Elon Musk. I want that tweet. I don't know. So
Okay. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, listen, I think everything is to expand our brains and think beyond of our, square that we're like, this is a bank, this is a dollar, this is a peso. This just blows your mind of everything you have to sort of think differently in this new universe. So including NFTs. There's a question here related to this. It says, are NFTs compatible with all platforms on the blockchain, like the different metaverses? And you just mentioned metaverses. So
yes,
can you answer?
metaverses are. I don't know if you ever played The Sims or you know that video game or Second Life, something like that. Maybe not. Well, metaverses are like virtual universes where you have a character and you go there and you can talk with people. So instead of doing this via Zoom, we can like join a metaverse like in a conference center, and we have our own character and we dress our character and we like put like makeup or whatever. That's a metaverse, and there are different ones.
So next
There
Dinero
is
session, maybe we do a metaverse, and that would be so
oh,
much more fun than Zoom.
that's amazing. Actually, yes. Well, actually, we there's a metaverse called Decentraland. Decentraland, if you want to buy a land to build your building, it's almost as buying a place in the real world, So yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna do a post about that. But then the question that was like, and I want to get to, there's a lot of questions on how do you sell an NFT, because we've talked about like, okay, well, people that are interested in buying them, but we have some artists that are in this group, just wanting to know how you get that going. But before we go into that, were NFTs compatible with all platforms on the blockchain?
Oh, okay. No, and that is because like I can buy an NFT that could work, for example, for Decentraland. So it's like the name of my character. The name of my character is an NFT that represents that unique name in that metaverse. But if I want to go to another metaverse, for example, Crypto Voxels, I will have to buy another name for that metaverse. And these two metaverses run
On different
in
platforms.
Ethereum. Not in Ethereum, yes, but you can find other blockchains that are launching their own platforms for NFTs. So no, like
okay. But so what would be the most mature or recommended, since the next question is how do you sell an NFT, or what is the best approach to get investments for launching a new NFT platform, this particular from an artist, a gallery, say, dedicated to showcasing Latinx art and music, etc. Like if you were going to sell an NFT and launch something like this, what platform would you use? And what's the best way to get it going? If we've had people saying, I have the best tweet, art, music, sports moment, whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, there are different markets of NFTs. One of like the most the biggest one, I guess, but there are a lot. Is OpenSea. In OpenSea, you can create your NFT. You can put your NFT in the market, and yeah, you can sell that NFT.
OpenSea, you said?
OpenSea. I think it's OpenSea.io.
Okay, we will look for it at Suma and we will post about it and we will give everybody links on this. Okay, perfect. So you would think that's it. There's another question regarding this saying, so you create it and then how do you market it? How do you promote it? Is it just, how would you know how to target? And I know I'm thinking with my very not decentralized mind, right? But in my very old non-Gen Z brain, I'm thinking, okay, I create my NFT that I think is great. How do people know about it? Like, what do you do after that?
Well, I guess I'm not an art expert, but I guess like everything in the blockchain, everything mimics like the non-blockchain world.
Okay.
So what will you do if you're an artist and you have your art? What will you do to like show everyone that it exists? So what I have seen is people use a lot of Twitter. Like there are a lot of crypto communities that are focused on art. So people is like showing their pieces and they are like posting. And if you can find someone who says like, oh yeah, I really love this artist, and if this person buys your art, that makes your things more valuable. So I think like that's what I have seen how it works. But again, I'm not an artist and I'm not a crypto artist, but it's what I have seen how
but that's
this
a
works.
great that's a great idea and a topic actually that maybe we can host on Clubhouse and have a ton of artists who have had success with NFTs. For people in our community that might be thinking about starting that. That's you gave us a great idea to even have like a little group of people sharing their strategies. There's a question here still to NFTs, and we're almost 2 minutes of time. I do want to get to tax implications. Laura Santiago is asking, would the NFT owner receive a royalty every time someone else uses that NFT? How does that work? Is it a limited thing, like, oh, we can only sell this to because they won the number to a certain number of people and that's it? Or is it unlimited that people continue to have a number and you keep making money? How does that work?
Well, this is interesting, and I think this is great for artists because it's something that is very difficult to do in the non-crypto world, and is that if you create your NFT, you can decide if you want just one NFT, owner. Just not no. owner, just one, like one version of that that object. I just want, like, I took a picture and I converted that picture to an NFT, and I'm just going to create one edition, like just one unit of that NFT. You can decide that, or you can decide, no, I want to create 10. So there will be like 10 different, like to print 10 times a photo, something like that. Or I want to create, I don't know, 1 million. So depending on that decision, you will you're thinking about a unique product, or a product that 10 people could have, or like maybe 1 million people. After you put it in the market, let's say OpenSea, when you sell it, OpenSea gets a commission for helping you to sell the product, and the artist always gets a commission. Like usually, as far as I know, again, I'm not an artist, but it's what I have heard, is that in the traditional world, if an artist sells his work or her work, he will receive the commission for that one time. But in the crypto space, the artist will receive a commission for their work every time the piece is sold or is acquired by someone. Yes, that's great. That's awesome.
And there's so much talent in our community, right? When it comes to artists, whether it's traditional art or music or whatever, is that I think this is something we have to get the word out on. How do we let our community know that this is a possibility? Because again, at Suma, we're all about helping our community build wealth. And this is certainly a way that I could see that there's so many amazing artists that sometimes they're struggling, they're not selling their art, they're in other parts of the world that doesn't let them do that. And this is definitely an incredible alternative. Well, we have so many questions, Nadia. I know you already did another masterclass for us that we are going to be putting up on our Suma Academy. Actually, that is our first class that we have on April 15th. Again, it's going to be free to everybody. The questions that we didn't answer here we will start posting about them. We will start posting on our social. We'll use our blog. We'll do articles. We'll let you guys know because we do want to answer them. But before we go, for anybody who still can stay for a few minutes, I know there's a lot of question on taxes. Nadia is not a tax expert when it comes to this topic, so I definitely don't want to put her in that spot. However, I do see some people asking, like, how are taxes collected when it comes time to taxes? Do we end up having to pay the IRS if we sell our crypto, etc.? We have partnered with TurboTax, just for you guys to be aware. Is specifically for this. They have a new software that lets you report on your taxes if you have been investing and making some gains out of your investments. We're going to be giving away some free codes for the software, so do stay tuned to Suma and our social feeds, because you'll be able to do that super easily. And because I see that there's so many questions on taxes, I'm going to see if we're able to get a session with them, and we could do it all about taxes when it comes to crypto. And they are the experts, and hopefully they can help us answer all the tax questions that we have here in the Q&A in the chat, and that we got from you guys, because this is definitely an important topic. It's a really good problem to have, because if you're now needing to report on your gains, that means you made money, and that's great, but you want to know what's the best way to do it. So Nadia, thank you so much, not just for this session, but thank you so much because you already did a masterclass for us that premieres on our Suma Academy April 15th. I know we have another session coming up in Spanish, so for any family member that would rather have this session in Spanish, I'm excited that I get to take it again in Spanish, so maybe I brush up again on all this terminology again with Nadia. Stay tuned for our social feeds. I know my WhatsApp must have 20 notes saying this is the date we have it, but I haven't checked it. But just stay tuned on when the Spanish session is going to be, but it's going to be coming soon for anybody who wants to either take it again or let their friends and family who are more Spanish dominant take it. But Nadia, any parting words on our behalf, just to thank you for the knowledge? I know we have so much more to learn, but this was definitely a great introduction.
No, thank you, Bea, and I'm really happy and excited to see all these questions. Please, do your own research and find out what's behind the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum, because there are a lot of possibilities and opportunities to create a new financial system, more transparent, more decentralized, and for everyone.
And that's very exciting, especially for our communities of color in the US, where there's so many people who are underbanked, precisely because some of the financial institutions have had some bias with some of our communities on who gets to, who is worthy of a line of credit, who is worthy of a mortgage, who is worthy of being banked in this country. And it seems like with this decentralized way of looking into finance, all of that will be much more equal for all of us. And that is an exciting thing to see. So thank you so much, Nadia. Now I know that the date of the Spanish session is April 22nd, Cripto en Español, para quienes quieran volver a tomar esta sesión o para quienes quieran invitar a sus familiares, amigos, etcétera, que se sientan mucho más cómodos con el español. Así que nos vemos en abril 22. And April 15th in English, we will have a masterclass from Nadia in our Suma Academy. Again, it will be free for all of our Suma subscribers. Thank you guys again. My name is Beatriz Acevedo, and it's been a pleasure to be with you guys this hour. We will continue to inform you every step of the way on how we can continue to learn more about this very complex topic, but also exciting. Thanks, Nadia, again, and thanks everybody for joining us today. Gracias a todos. Buenas noches.